50, he's most noticeable when he comes down the ramp is that he's an oldish man who's walking with a severe limp. He's not coming down the ramp anytime quickly. As soon as he reaches, he introduces himself to the group as my name is Howard Hill, but the folks here call me 50. And Olaf here has mentioned that you um, were thinking about going hunting, and weren't equipped for hunting and wanted to borrow a couple of my bows. Is that right?
Exactly.
And so I'm going to be taking over. Thank you for that great introduction, Olaf. That was fantastic. And so Howard goes, or 50 goes, goes on and says, "Well, I've done the numbers, and I'd be willing to go that way. Olaf has been quite amenable in town and proved himself to be, one of the more civilized townsfolk. The rest of his companions will need to wait and see. But I have a good feeling. About it. And John, I apologize if I'm butchering the accent I'm supposed to be doing here. I don't know how to do it. But back into character. Yes, so 30 gold pieces. That does sound like a good rate for borrowing. How many short bows did you need?
Olaf looks at two, and
Two.
a couple of javelins, if that's okay.
Couple of javelin. I don't know if I have any javelins on me. Let me. And he kind of searches his memory for a second, thinking if he has any javelins in his back from his old military days.
If you have a good sturdy hatchet or tomahawk, I can hurl one of those pretty far too.
Unfortunately, I don't have any javelins. Searching my memory. Tomahawks or hatchets? Well, I suppose I could go to the lumberjack and try to borrow a hand axe for you, if that's what you're looking for.
That would do quite nice, and it'd be good to have while we're on our trip too, in case we need to get any firewood or anything like that.
Well, yeah, we could do that. So, you got 2 short bows and, let's say 2 hand axes. I'm not going to do the math. I'll just say it's a flat. I need to borrow a collateral of 35 gold pieces, and then when you return it, I will return the 35 gold pieces to you. I hear you're hunting for a nice feast. We'll consider the feast the price for borrowing the items. You can return with these animals, with this great harvest, then we'll consider the payment for the loan paid back in full.
You're too generous.
Lowell will count out 15 gold pieces and pass them to Olaf for his portion of the payment.
Okay, so Lowell has 15.
Sir,
Sorry, did somebody say my name?
did you want to contribute to the bows?
Yeah, I'll contribute. How much were they?
We need 35. We've got 15 so far.
Oh yeah, I can contribute the other amount. I think that's 17, right?
Just 10. 10 will do.
Alright, 10. Sorry, 10.
Alright, so he hands you 2 short bows that he went back to the marketplace to gather. He got 2 hand axes for you, and he has taken 35 gold pieces from the company. Well, you guys do have arrows, right? Of course you have arrows. What am I thinking? Of course.
I thought that was included.
Don't need arrows for an axe.
I was worried there for a moment. I assume you need a quiver as well.
That would be handy, thank you.
Why don't I select 2 I'll do 2 quiver full of arrows, so 2 quivers and 40 arrows. So that means 20 arrows in each quiver. We'll take another, let's just say 5 gold pieces. I'll make it a flat 40.
Sure, Olaf will just hand that over.
All right. And he exchanges back, takes that 5 gold pieces. Now he has 40, and he will give you the 2 quivers and the 40 arrows. Well,
Olaf will just distribute it as well.
good luck. You guys seem like a wily bunch, but quite capable. And he takes a look at Koront's impressive arms and his shoulders, kind of like bulging with muscles. Quite impressive. Wouldn't want to be on the other side of that.
Most don't.
Well, if that's all you need me for, I'll head back in. Alright,
Much
good
appreciated.
good day to you.
I don't think we need anything else, do we?
No. Olaf will go back inside and lead his draft horse back out. Though.
Yeah, I'll grab that for you.
And with a pat on the horse, start walking off, I guess. In direction of the hills. Oh, it depends on what map you've got created.
It depends. Let's go back to the Torrent world map real quick. And you tell me, do you guys plan on doing this?
Well, Olaf is not an experienced hunter, but he would suggest that we go back to the forest before, because there's less chance of the deer seeing us if there's a bit of foliage in between.
Yes, but I also suggest that we each keep as quiet as possible, and I would prefer if I could go first, as I am rather efficient in the art of not making noise.
Fine by me. I'll bring up the rear. I'm a little slower, but I'll be keeping an eye out, kind of watching our backs. I'm also going to take the opportunity to survey the land a bit as we're walking around to see if anything seems out of place. Unnatural.
And I'll walk near Lowell, because we travel here together, so I feel a little bit of comfort there, so we're just going to hang out. Kind of near the back. I'll be a little ahead of him, but never letting him fall too far back.
Alright, so you guys are traveling back into the old forest. I'm going to pull up the travel rules for you.
Where did this horse come from?
That's Olaf's draft horse. Some Steed, if you want to be precise.
Oh, I see.
We're going to need something to bring the carcasses back if we are successful.
Alright.
Koront kind of looks over like, finally someone said it. I figured that's why they brought me, was to be the draft horse.
Okay, so on the road it's considered easy terrain because although the Old Forest Road has fallen into disrepair, it is still a road that cuts through the heavily entangled forest. As you're making your way, you can go ahead and move the party about 20 kilometers into the forest along the road. You all have control of the party symbol, the party token.
So how far can we move? 10 squares? Or wait, we're not mounted, so...
20 kilometers.
I can't see the party
Say
token.
move like right there.
Oh, okay, so you take charge. Who's taking charge?
Me. So Riss.
They're
Riss.
leading the party.
Alright, Riss, you take them deep into the forest. You kind of diverge. Tell me about how you travel. How do you go about going into the forest?
we do have the draft horse with us, right?
Yeah.
I'm having the draft horse be like at least very close to the back, or because like if it's in the front, it's gonna be very loud. And I was gonna travel me like 5-10 feet in front of the party, just like the scout per se. With I was gonna walk forward. If I see anything, I'd like, or if I see anything, I'd alert the party and tell them to stop. But if not, I would just tell them to keep coming. Like essentially, I'm going in front to make sure we don't alert anything that we're hunting for.
All right. So Cerberus is scouting ahead, while the rest of the party is about 10 feet behind. You guys are going into the forest. It is quite a, it's fall. There's some light clouds in the sky, bright light during the daytime, and there's a view of the stars and the moon at night. No weather to impede your travels into the forest. As you diverge off of the road into the forest, you transition from easy terrain, which is this old road, to a much more severe terrain where the forest kind of twists and turns. The branches kind of block your steed every now and again, block the draft horse. It's hard to get through. At some point, you're going to have to take out maybe your hatchet to kind of cut through some of the undergrowth to get further into the forest. And as you're going through this forest, I gotta say, it's exceptionally, you haven't been able to locate any game as you've been going through this forest, as you've been cutting into it. And what do you guys do now?
As we've been making our way, again, Lowell's been trying to sort of get like a bit of like a survey, like a feel for this forest. Does anything stand out to him that is unnatural about like this level of growth? This is just old growth forest. Part of this is he, as a blood hunter, has a trait called Hunter's Bane that gives him kind of like a natural keenness for unnatural stuff, like that'd be undead or aberration or stuff. I can just ping it.
I don't think we're gonna find any in the forest, but you know. So, I say we kind of split up and try to cover a bit more area. We go in like two and two.
So I just showed you a picture of what you see, Lowell, as you're going into the forest.
I am like still loading in the map, so I think I'm still kind of behind right now. I don't know why it's taking this long. It didn't take this long when I loaded into the game initially.
Gotcha. Do you see the art that I posted?
He's still in Dorsberg.
No, I don't.
You might need to reconnect real quick. But essentially, if I were to describe what the art image is, it's essentially a pine forest. Left and right, there's lush shades of green hue. But as you go further and further into the forest, it kind of gets the undergrowth and tangle becomes a more crimson red, more boggish kind of forest. So it transitions from a peaceful forest, which you see in this image, to something like this. To something like this, like a marsh.
Jesus Christ!
It gets more sinister and
like,
sinister.
Is it like one for one, like actually, or is this?
There's something sinister about that tree that's overflowing with skulls.
Yeah, you do see what appears to be the decayed remains of animals and maybe a human. If you want to investigate, you're gonna have to tell me how you do that. As for your general feeling, that's something that only you can answer. Like, what do you feel when you look at this image?
I feel like we've gone too far.
Risks are like we haven't gone farther now.
I feel like we shouldn't be here. It's like the The forest is death.
Ah, but whoever killed all these things, we could hunt that. Rish is gonna look around for any tracks.
Okay, so you guys have traveled about it's approaching sunset. You guys traveled a full day into the forest. Now you're looking around for tracks. Tell me, how do you do that?
I'm just gonna use perception just to look around.
Okay, so you're just taking a look around. You're like scanning left and right. Is there anything specific that you're looking at?
For any hoof prints in the ground.
Okay, and who is doing this?
Stir wrist.
All right, go ahead. Give me a perception check.
Can Olaf assist them
Yes, you can.
with Olaf's experience hunting small game?
Yep, you can do
So
that.
looking for smaller tracks. That's what
21.
Your sharp eyes are looking left and right for any hoof tracks, and you do spot a large, what appears to be a sunken hole, a string of sunken holes that are in this marsh-like forest. It's a fast approaching sunset, but you do see this what appears to be an animal that's gone through here, an animal or a human that have kind of, imagine it putting down their leg or putting down their foot into the marsh, into this bog, and then that creates a small hole. And then on the other side of it is another hole. It appears to be, your sharp eyes do detect that there are these series of holes that go deeper into the marsh, kind of crisscross along in this ancient natural game trail that goes deeper into the marsh.
So we could go deeper into the marsh.
We're losing the light. I think we need to make camp.
So that'll probably be for best.
These prints will probably still be here tomorrow, so yeah, I agree.
We could always try lay a snare or a trap along the trail, though. Maybe we'll get something.
Yeah, Olaf will do so. He'll pull out his from his saddlebags. He'll pull out a small game trap and attach it to the firmest part of the ground he can find with his stake, and he'll hammer it in.
Koront's going to do the same, but instead of pulling out a trap, he's going to go find some branches, some wispy branches, to be able to create a snare and set it up along the along a trail. That would seem like small game would be coming down.
Okay, so you both of you set traps along this trail. Riss, since you're doing that, you're improvising a trap. I want you to make a dexterity skill check.
I am not setting up a trap.
Who is setting up the trap?
Koront is, but I mean, I didn't grow up with metal traps from a shamanistic orc tribe, so I mean, I could make I would feel like I felt very comfortable in making these traps.
Okay, Koront feels very comfortable about it. Give me a dexterity check, please. And all right, so you make a.
Nice.
You think you make a pretty good snare. You both put it along this game trail that it had the footprints on them, had the hoof prints, had this. You don't know if it's a footprint, you don't know if it's hoof print, but you know it's a trail of some kind. As you guys are going into night, because of the overwhelming aura, the humidity of the swamp, of the bog that's just bearing down on you, and there are crows flying around. There's a thin mist that kind of goes in and out, constantly testing you guys. It's just not possible to short rest in this bog. You guys barely are able to get any sleep and not suffer any exhaustion. Anything guys want to do while night is passing by?
Not really, no.
Since we're having trouble at least getting watch and we can't sleep, I'm gonna try to cook some rations into some little treats for everybody. This is with using my chef feature. So just over fire with a little pot and stuff. I'm trying to cook up some goodies. I have to read about this again.
You got it. You got it. Cook up some nice treats. All right.
So this would be the second one, not the one that's part of the short rest.
You won't need to use any rations because Olaf and Koront will find some food along the way, like berries or nuts or maybe a squirrel or two, kind of.
Yep, definitely. During the daytime, you were able to collect those berries and nuts, so you do have rations taken care of. And with this exceptional meal that Lowel has crafted, I am gonna say that you get that extra, you get these extra treats, these extra tasty treats, and you have them available if you want to eat them.
So I'll hand out 3 of those to the other party members. You each get 1 of those. And if you eat one as a bonus action, for as long as they're good, they're only good for the next 8 hours. You can't microwave them. You'll get 3 temporary hit points. And
Cool.
it's like a this time it's like a grilled cheese. Yeah, like a little grilled cheese sandwich made from biscuit.
Koront's gonna eat us.
Nice, nice.
Rest will eat his too. That's 3 temporary hit points, you said?
That's right.
Alright, so the night passes uneventfully. In the morning, you go over to your 1 snare trap and 1 hunting trap, and you see that there is indeed something sprung. It has been sprung, and we see that both of you guys have caught something. It appears that both of you guys have caught what appears to be a small badger. So you guys have picked up 2 badgers.
Hey, did you get anything from a trap there, Olaf? Look what I got, a badger.
Oh, same here. It's a surprisingly good place for a trap. I was kind of expecting not to see a trap there at all. Something big to just take it away.
Well, we got some extra food. That's good. After those grilled cheese last night, or whatever those things were, I bet you can make something good out of this too.
Oh, for sure.
Badger stew is on the menu for tonight. And if we save these pelts, maybe there's somebody in town who could make a vest or a hat. I don't know about badger skin hats, but I bet it'll look trendy.
So what's the plan? Dark forest, which I've never seen an elk in before, or back into the forest where there are elk.
Are you saying that to?
Saying to the party, because I'm assuming it's the next morning.
Yep, it is morning.
I would like to go deeper, but that's just my innate need to explore shit. We could go back into the other area and just hunt for elk. I would suggest doing whatever you guys believe is best for you.
I'm kind of the same opinion.
I'm inclined to stay in this area. I feel like there's something wrong about this place, and I want to know more about it.
South would lead, south and south west would lead further into this kind of swamp, this forest that's transitioning into a swamp. North and northeast would lead further into the green lush forest.
Say that again.
So north and northeast would lead further into the green lush forest. South and southwest in the world map would lead further into the red marsh and forest that's transitioning into a red marsh.
All right. Unpopular opinion. I want to check out the evil marsh.
Korant's just gonna kind of look up and go, "Fuck it, there's a game trail going that way. We might as well follow it."
We may not catch an elk, but we might catch something even more.
Hey, and
badass.
if we catch something dangerous, we can tell Dawsberg that we alleviated an issue.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It'll prove our worth.
Yeah, so like, just if we get in against any displacer beast, I'm peacing out. I actually don't know if my character knows displacer beast is, so let's just say that was out of character. Alright. So deeper into the marsh?
Sounds good.
Alright, go ahead and move your character. You were in severe terrain, so you only get to move 16 kilometers.
Stay right here near this hill. This hill will provide cover and high ground, so...
As you're moving through this red marsh, you do notice that as you're rising into the hills, that the marsh kind of drops away and you lead into a more greenish area. But as you kind of go down and sink into the valleys, the marsh kind of grips the party again. So you go up and down these hills. And you stumble upon a series of ancient ruins. There are two little, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put you on the map real quick. But there are two forest ruins, that kind of a decadent ruins. You've been following this game trail into the swamp, and I'm going to show you the ruins now. This is on top of one of the hills that you come across.
Oh, we have a map, cool. I don't own a token with vision on the screen.
Okay, Lowel doesn't have token vision. I don't know why that isn't the case. Give me a second, I'll set up your vision.
Probably just because it's the first game.
Now, you guys, this is daytime, so I'm going to alleviate the vision constraints real quick.
Oh, wait, I can see now. Oh, yeah. I think we only can see through Lowel.
Yeah, I've only can see one token.
Oh, okay, here we go. So
you come across these series of ruins. These are circular ruined platforms with kind of a stone granite pillar that supports uneven sides. So some of the granite pillars have been knocked down. The trees here are a little bit, the shape is a little bit weird, but it is up above the swamp. So it is kind of a more lush green rather than the murky red that is down in the valley.
And we're following these tracks. Do you know where they lead? Can we?
Well, they lead through this area, but unfortunately, after they get out of the marsh, the tracks are not easy to follow anymore because the grass here is much shorter, and there isn't an obvious little, indent into the boggy swamp. So you kind of lost the trail in this area.
How old do these ruins look?
How would your character know that? Who's this character, and how would your character know that?
Don't know if he would be able to tell, honestly. I would just look for like aging, but I don't know. I don't think my character has any ability to tell that or discern that, so no, I don't think I could. Reasonably.
Who's the character?
Riss.
Awesome. I haven't been able to connect the voice to the character yet.
You're fine.
Would these runes be something that Lowell had read about or would be familiar with after researching the area before coming to like the Dawsberg area?
I don't know. Is that something that was possible for your character?
Well, presumably, being a part of this order of blood hunters that is kind of really specialized in research, certainly is possible. I don't know. Can I do a history check to see if this is something I recognize or not?
Yeah, go ahead and start describing a memory in your past within the Blood Hunter organization. Talk to me about how that could possibly lead to information about this ruins. After you do that, go ahead and roll me a history check.
Well, the Order of Delvers is all about uncovering both the past and new research. They both record these old histories, but they also are seeking out new discoveries too. So they're very much trying to be on the precipice, kind of like the front lines of these discoveries. Lowell, though, would have been he would have been reading books, going through old pages, and trying to see if there's any like past ruins, past civilizations that were significant to this area. So whether he recognizes it or not, this is something that he should have read about.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's a 21 on his history check.
Yep. So reading through the parchment, the books that you've read within your organization on this area, you would know that these circular pillars used to be for some kind of religious organization in these hills. There were supposedly a group of tribesmen and clansmen here that performed sacrificial rites upon these great altars. These altars used to be temples, each of them worshipping 6 different gods. But unfortunately, the roof of these temples have long since fallen to decay, and the pillars have, fallen down. As for the exact significance of the religious icons and the deities, I'm afraid your lore doesn't really go into that.
I'll share this with the party. These structures, these were old temples. They collapsed, but they're serving 6 gods. I wonder if that's significant, but I cannot remember which ones. Some kind of old clan or cult or something like that. Shall we look around?
I do have a question. Can you describe any symbols you see on the, like, did you discern any symbols? Any specific ones?
Whose character is looking for symbols?
Riss, since he does have good knowledge of like religious aspects. He could tell generalized religions or anything specific like that. Or if one of these symbols did get transferred into a more standardized one.
Okay, from Riss's present location, he does not see any religious symbols.
Well, I could move.
You still do not see anything on that altar. It appears to be worn down, and there doesn't appear to be anything there.
Alright. Should probably just check all the pillars.
That pillar is much more decayed than the other ones. Much more of the pillars have gone down. And I am going to need you to roll me... I want you to move to each of the different stone pillars, and I want you to roll me one... we're looking for religious icons. Roll me an investigation check, I think. You're trying to find the icons first, and then you're going to try to recognize them.
Okay, investigation. For each pillar or just...
For each of them, yes. So give me 6.
Wow, that is actually some amazing rolls right there. Holy shit.
That is good. So you did... The DC was 18, so you did manage to find one of them. That's going to be the third to the right. So it... all the way over here, you managed to recognize a few carvings in the granite pillars of a deity. And these, weather has worn the other pillars down, and the icon's been long decayed and forgotten. But you managed to find just 2 of these pillars has a few icons on there that you recognize. It's some kind of religious symbol, but you're not sure where. Tell me, where would you remember this religious information? How would you know it?
I said this before, but Riss was brought up in a church, so he was taught, he was given a book to read every day as his education, perchance, as to not only learn to read, but to learn other religions and his own religion. So, although he wasn't particularly interested in it, that's why he's so book smart. After being made to learn something for so long, something has to stick. So he has picked up on some of the symbols, and he can recognize a couple of them just at sight. Although it might be a bit difficult for him to search his memory to actually remember one he didn't particularly find interesting.
Nice. All right, roll the religion check for me.
Oof.
Yes, so looking at these symbols, you do recognize that this patron that these deities are worshipping invoke the god of nature. Now, the god of nature is Lowel. Tell me, who is the name of the goddess or god of nature? Lowel, you there?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not realize that was towards me. Oh, wow. I did not. Okay. The goddess of nature. Gaia.
Gaia, yes. Is a goddess or a god?
Both.
I was gonna say nature doesn't have one.
Yes, the god. Okay, I'm gonna assume that god is gender neutral.
Yeah,
the god of nature, Gaia,
Just say deity.
the deity of nature,
Yeah.
Gaia, is inscribed upon these stone pillars in green, in a kind of a mossy green. You can see it etched down on those pillars. Reading through it, you can see that if a sacrificial rite is performed upon these pillars, upon this great altar, then a great bountiful feast will be delivered to those that perform this great rite. It doesn't go into detail on what the rite is, but it does say that this location on one of the pillars, there's 2 pillars. On the first pillar, it says that this is a temple to worship the deity Gaia, of representing of nature. The second pillar talks about how it must be performed here. It must be performed by a shaman that worships Gaia.
I'm gonna. Sorry, continue.
No, that's it.
I'm gonna yell to the party. Do not disturb. Try not to disturb anything. This is a religious. This is a holy area. I would hate to earn the god Gaia's ire in any capacity.
Well, Koront would have known of Gaia because of his shamanistic tribe. And upon hearing Reese talk about it being a shrine for Gaia, I'm going to kind of just run over and like get to a knee and look down at it and kind of look at it in desecration.
You're going to desecrate the shrine?
No, I'm going to be like upset about how it's in such disrepair.
Oh, okay.
Like
Gotcha.
kind of weak on a knee. Sorry.
Nice. That's good. That's awesome. Give yourself inspiration. Koront.
No! What has happened? Gaia is a respected god.